Hi everybody, good morning. This is Jean here. Jean Truelove from Truelove Quilts for You. I'm not quilting today. I'm not talking about quilting today. I'm not talking about a quilt challenge. I'm not even going to talk about tornadoes or hurricanes or floods or my little apartment here. What I am going to do is talk to you about paint by numbers. Go figure. I am doing a paint by number kit. I've gotten a few of them. This is my third one I've done, and somebody had said, I had mentioned it on one of my previous videos, that during this transition period of time, during this traumatic, stressful time, that I've discovered this hobby, and I'm really quite enjoying it, whether it's going to last or not. But for the interim, it's really a very mindless, not as challenging as it seems, because I was totally daunted. I had gotten, I don't know why, I went to the craft store and I found a very simple, my first one was my peacock. I think I posted that. And my second one was a hummingbird. I think they're like between $10 and $14, $15 at the craft stores. I think I got one at Michael's craft store here in America, and then Joann Fabrics. Sweet little kits. The first one I got, the cheaper one, you had to mix the paints, and I thought, I didn't know how to do that, and I thought, oh, I did it, and it ended up real sweet. But I thought, oh, the more expensive ones, you get paints that the entire palette of paints to correspond to your canvas that you get. I don't know why I'm doing this, because it's a paint by number thing, right? But I thought you'd be interested, because as opposed to the paint by numbers done a million years ago when I was younger, which ended up rather blocky, you know, you could tell, rather juvenile, rather staccato, blocky paints. The ones that now are on the market, which again, I think it's going to be like the 2022 fad of the year, like adult coloring books, which are awesome. I never got into that, but I don't know why, because perhaps that artwork, when you were done, was more just on paper. I don't know. What appeals to me is the fact that I can have a painting that I can hang on a wall. As you know, I love to hang things on the wall. And I had gotten this one here, which is like an old master. I was born in the wrong century. I quite like oldie things, and lots of clutter and lots of tchotchkes, as you know. And this painting here really appealed to me because it has the little, the silly little figurine in the old book and the vase of flowers. As you can see, hopefully it will come across that this painting is really quite detailed. It wasn't as challenging as I thought. I was at first daunted. The first two I did were quite simple, maybe for a beginner, and yet still a little bit not challenging, but a little bit like, oh, like that takes some. This one that I had gotten, I got the two at the shops. This one I got online, and I have another two waiting, within like a floral series. I like the flower series, but when I say online, if you just put in paint by number, dozens and dozens of online shops will pop up. This happens to be what's called Masterpiece by Numbers. MasterpieceByNumbers.com. I'm not sponsored by them, or I'm not touting them or anything. There's painting Picasso and all sorts of different ones online that you can get. And when I say hundreds, thousands of images that really do look, at the end of the day, like a beautiful painting that you would never, ever believe was a paint by number. I don't think, if you're looking at that looks like a paint by number. And that's what appealed to me. Somebody said, oh, make a paint by number video. And I'm like, it's silly. But I am, because I just thought, if you're going to embark on getting a paint by number kit, it looks very daunting, and it's challenging, but it's very relaxing. And I was looking at a bunch of reviews, and somebody said I quit smoking. I was a NICU nurse. I have a very harried lawyer profession. I'm a firefighter. I want to unwind at the end of the day. I have children, and I want to have a half hour. Those type of reviews. And you think, well, when you actually look at this canvas, This is a canvas that comes, and then the letters, the numbers I should say, are minuscule. And it comes, usually the kits come with 3 paintbrushes, which are not adequate. But I thought I'm going to be, maybe some will, I shouldn't say that. I don't find they're adequate. What I had done is I had gone to Walmart and I had gotten quite a few little tiny brushes. I mean, like $4 for, like they're like 90 cents each or something like that. Real cheap. The finer, I'm finding the finer the brush, tiny little minuscule, that's even big. This tiny little brush there, maybe 2 or 3 hairs are the ticket. And you're thinking, well, my hands shake or I can't see that well. Well, that's me. Not that my hands shake, well, but some of the bits they do, because they're this big. And you're thinking, oh, but if you're going to do it, these are just a few tips I have. Get a few more brushes, tiny little ones. The paint, you want to look for a kit that you don't have to mix the paint. And this kit here came with up to from 1 to 25. 1 to 27. There are 27 little individual pots of paint that come. And again, I'm showing you how to like suck an egg, right? It's not rocket science, but I thought there are just a few tricks if you wanted to embark on one. They're just really sweet. As I said, I got this from masterpiecesby.com, masterpiecesbynumbers.com. I could not do these if I had not invested in a magnifying glass / light. Now I'm going to turn this on. You can see the image here. I'm looking at it through my camera. You can see the image there, just with a regular light in my room. But as you can see, that light, and I'll just push this back here. You can't even see, that's so bright. That light that flashes onto there, along with my magnifying glass here, I can see the numbers absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. Now, when I don't have it on, you know, one of our sons came down and he's looking, he's like, you can do that, Mom? You know, I wear glasses, just a magnifying glass and then a corrective lens on this end. But he's like, you can see that? I said no, I maybe somebody can with really good eyesight. I also invested in an easel. I think it was like $14 from the craft store, just the tabletop easel. Now, my daughter-in-law came down and she said, oh, you started at the bottom, like I've finished the bottom, right? Usually they recommend you start at the top. It's only because my light was going from the bottom. My tabletop magnifying glass light was illuminating the bottom, so I started at the bottom. But what I have discovered is I just have, this is on my little painting station. I discovered what I can do is I just pulled out my drawer here. It's just a small little dresser. I can lean that up, and then I'm at the top of my painting here. I just do a little bit at a time to let the paints dry. These are acrylic paints, obviously, which dry very quickly. They're not oil paints or anything. And again, most people would start at the top, perhaps if you had a larger light or a little bit of a different setup. But if you're doing it on a table, I was finding, I did my first one, I was finding my shoulders got hunched, my hair was getting in the way, I had to pull it out, and I didn't have my magnifying. That was for the basic peacock one that I did. But for this one, I find having the tabletop easel. I had just gotten a little cup of water, and then as I said, I had gotten a few brushes. There's a bunch here because I think the one set had like 12 brushes in it or something. I would never ever use that brush, or I don't even think, maybe for some of the larger bits I would use that one, but for the most part I got them. So again, as I said, they have these tiny little things. Now again, it's daunting, and you're thinking, you know, like, where do I begin? What numbers do I begin? I just began down here, and I'm not, I sort of did this area, and I did an area about that big and just picked out one number and did all of the numbers in that area did the one number in that small area. Really tried to find number 11 in here. Maybe it was up here, maybe it was down here, maybe it's a little dab there. That's all. And then what I did, I have my water here, but and maybe this isn't what you're supposed to do, but it worked out really pretty. If I was using say a dark green for, like this dark green on a leaf here for my things, and then it said to do another dark green, because that's the shadowing, and there's another little brighter green. Instead of washing it in the water, I would just take a paper towel and dry off the paint. That's it. I wouldn't wet it necessarily. I wouldn't wash my paint. I think that's the instructions. You wash your brush after every paint and then dry it off. I didn't find that necessary if I was using the same colorway. The same here with the different reds. There's more of a burgundy, there is more of a red, and there is a hot pink. If I was working with those hot pinks, I would just wipe them off my brush and go to the next one. But perhaps to wash the brush after every paint. So then what happens inevitably, I would think I would do all of the number 11s, right, in an area this big, and then I would do all the number 4s in that area, and then number 6s in that area. That way I didn't get too daunted that, like, oh, there's more number 11s up there. I'm not going to do that. I was just concentrating. Inevitably, you're going to wipe your brush, and then you're going to come back and you're going to see, oops, I missed another number 11. It's so funny. And then I would just leave that. I would leave that to, so there's, I think right here, there's about minuscule, tiny little bits of, like, there's a number 10, there's a number 24, there's a number 6. And so at the very end, I'll go back, and then if it's so tiny, I'll put in my own, instead of like, oh, this paint, that paint, I'll just sort of eyeball it. For the most part, I didn't. I just absolutely followed the numbers. So very easy. So again, for what this is worth, I don't know. This was the actual little reference picture, and it does come with a large reference sheet, which I didn't find. I thought, well, once I start filling it in, maybe somebody could use that. The only thing I don't like about this company, as opposed to one of the cheaper companies, is this is a very small reference. I can see that, but the other one was almost like an 8 by 10. This is a 16-inch by 20-inch canvas. And also, if you're going to do this, you want to be looking for a rolled canvas, not a folded canvas, which has the creases in it. But I think so many now of the paint by numbers have the rolled canvas. They come shipped in a tube along with the paints. And again, look out for paints that have the entire palette of paints, that you're not just taking the paints. Again, some of the less expensive kits have the paints that you have to mix. When I had gotten that, I had actually gotten a few little coffee stirrers, put them on a paper plate, and mix them. You mix 18 with 16, and you mix, and it's like, oh, don't mix too much, and take a little bit of that, and that I didn't enjoy that. I'm like, I don't want to be mixing paints. I'm not an artist. But look at that, I'm an artist. I did this painting. I think this is just absolutely delightful. And I'm telling you, I do have the time here, in our little basement, but it didn't take me all that long. It's really amazing how quickly, if you're working at it a bit here, a little bit there. And also, I think the nice part of it is anybody can come along, if you trust them, your husband or your kids can come along and try to do it. Again, I have my magnifying glass. I do believe that was about $50. I think I got it at Joann's. I didn't, or I forget where I got it. But if perhaps you had a coupon at a craft store, it wouldn't be that expensive. This was one of the smaller magnifying. I believe this is 8 times or 10 times. I need it, absolutely. I use my glasses, and I take breaks because you're going very, very, very close into it. But I don't find it hard. It looks like I just am so pleased with it. It looks really hard. I mean, that looks like wow, and yet that is a paint by number kit. I have a few others, the floral series, and at the end of the day, I did mount this on, it comes just in a tube, a cloth canvas. I did buy, very inexpensive, I bought a canvas that I actually I didn't stretch it, I just sort of taped it on, but when I'm finished it, I will actually staple it onto the blank canvas to be able to just pop that into, I want to get like a lovely gold, oldie world gold gilt frame for whatever new home we're going to be in, hopefully. And so that sort of looks like what I like that old world look. Like that old masterpiece. So I did have to buy, they're very inexpensive. You can even get a pack of 5 for a couple bucks. Just things. But if you don't want to do that, you can just get a poster board. And just, if you're going to if you're going to be on an easel, or even if it's flat down on the thing. But I would recommend an easel if you're going to be embarking on your paint by numbers. This is a silly video, isn't it? I just wanted to share that with you. I'm not doing any sewing today. I'm going to stay off the computer. I'm just going to chill here and relax. Maxwell went off with Ian this morning. We had gotten, I think I told you the other day, we had gotten our new rental vehicles because the tornado had smashed my husband's car pretty much to smithereens. And then I didn't realize my lease car did get pitted. So we got 2 rental cars. My husband got a brand new rental Yukon, huge, great big, massive SUV thing, brand spanking new. And it was funny, we were in the rental parking lot, and I had this little, I don't know what it is, a Nissan or something. It was gray. I don't love gray walls. It was gray, and I always buy white cars. First time we had a red car, but Ian got the white thing. I'm sitting there in this little gray car, which stinks like smoke, actually. They said it was a non-smoking car, and it smells terrible, and Maxwell was getting a headache. I thought, oh my word. I said, put the windows down. Maybe if we have it for a while, we're going to turn it in. But we were sitting there waiting for my husband in this great big vehicle, which we're used to driving big vehicles, to go. Maxwell finally got out of the car and he went over to him. He's like, Daddy, what's up? And it's brand spanking new. He couldn't find how to put it in drive. My husband is an expert driver, but these new cars, it's like a little switch, you flip up or you flip. It wasn't even like a push thing. And Maxwell's like, Daddy, it's like on these newfangled, awesome vehicles. So I'm like, okay, are you okay there, Ian? So he's in that vehicle, but it was so unbelievable. His Pathfinder that got smashed by the hurricane and the trees, in the storms in September, the whole side, anyway, long story short, it's between $15,000 and $18,000 worth of damage. So we're like, okay, the auto body shop, we got the for the insurance. So we're like, okay, they're going to total the vehicle. They're not. They said, no, just get the car fixed. And actually, when we took it in the other day, they went over it again, and it could be up to $20,000 worth of damage. The whole wrap around the back, whole side, the whole front, the windshield's smashed, the whole bonnet, and then they found stuff on the driver's side. It got smashed on the passenger side. I mean, the whole thing. And we're like, oh, surely they're going to total the vehicle. They didn't. The insurance company said, no, just get it fixed. So I don't know. I guess we're going to get it's only a year old. I guess we're going to get like a nice new vehicle. Mine, we just thought was going to be a paint, like a dentless removal, or a paintless dent removal. They pop them out. But apparently, it was a little bit worse. The projectiles that hit my car, which is a lease vehicle. Ian owns his Pathfinder. Anyway, so that's that. He's got this huge, great big vehicle that he is enjoying. Oh, one more thing. How like the lane assist? It was so funny. He's driving down the highway, and we got home, and he says, he had gone into the other lane slightly, this huge, great big vehicle. It wasn't quite. And the lane assist thing, which I hate, which sort of like pulls the steering wheel back, it not only does that, okay, it sort of, does it beep, pull the steering wheel back, it also has something in the seat that sort of tickles your butt. So he's driving along, the steering wheel goes, and this thing, he's like, oh, what the heck is that? So he's like, oh, something happened in my seat, darling. And I said, what are you talking about? Here, our son Jordan has a brand new something or other, big new SUV. He said, oh yeah, that's what it does. It has these fingers that come up and like reminds you to keep in your lane. I'm like, oh, cut me a break. Like these vehicles, you know, you can go to sleep and drive down the road. It's ridiculous. So it got out. I'm like, we're not going to be getting that anytime soon. He's like, oh, darling. It was just so funny. Anyway, that's this video. I just wanted to say hello. That's what I'm doing today. I'm just chilling. It's a beautiful sunny day. Maxwell's having a better day. He didn't have a good day yesterday. When we went out, we went over to our home, and it's a mess. It's just a right mess. And he just wouldn't even get out of the car. He's like, I don't want to go there anymore, because I had to go and get the mail and do some stuff and make sure my sewing room is intact, but not. But we go over it all the time to check it. Our son had been there earlier, but Maxwell didn't even get out of the vehicle. He's very traumatized. He's trying desperately to cope and to be brave and be a trooper, which he is. But it's really taken the toll, really taken its toll on him. So yeah, pray for our Maxwell. He's such a darling, he really is. But he's out today, he's enjoying his time with his dad. So yeah, just wanted to check in and say hello to everybody. If you get a paint by numbers kit, those are the little tips. It's silly. But I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it, taking my mind off of some dreadful, stressful times. And enjoying it, coming out with something at the end of the day. All right, folks, I hope you're having a lovely day. As usual, love from the Trueloves. Bye.